I was asked how I made the cool chick shirt, so I wanted to just do a small little demo of how I did it. It was pretty simple. First, I went on to Google and I just searched um, chicken vector. So I searched chicken vector and I found an image that I liked and I saved it to my computer. And then after that, in the Silhouette Studio, go into File and then Merge. You find your file in your download section or wherever you have placed it within your computer, and then you merge it into your document. So after that, I go into Trace. So I'm going to actually turn it around so you can see it, and then I will complete the demonstration on how to do this particular shirt. Okay, so now that my image is inside my document, I'm going to go over here and press the trace, open the trace panel, and then I'm going to select the trace area, and then I highlight this whole entire area and press trace. There are three different options: trace, trace outer edge, and trace and detach. I'm going to use trace, and it's going to trace it, and then I can remove my image because I don't need that anymore. So I will make it bigger. And so that's what I have, and that's what would be cut out. And so what I did also was I went into the fonts and typed out the word that I wanted to use. Okay, so I typed out cool chick, and if I wanted to put someone's name in it, cool chick, let's say Casey. So now the words are all there, and I can move it over, place it wherever I want. And what I like to do is I like to select the whole image, and I will minimize this for a little bit just so you can see me transfer it over, get rid of my original. So I bring it in. You could even make it a group, so you double click it and make it a group. And so you bring it into your print area. And so for me, I know that the shirt, I measured it out with my graph my graph sheet, and I put it on the shirt, and so I want it to be about 6 by 6. So somewhere roughly 6 by 6. I could adjust it. So now that area is 6 inches wide by 6 inches long, and the chicken fits in there. Okay, so you're almost ready to print, but then I select the image, and I'm going to flip it. So flip it horizontally, because when you go to cut it out, you'll need the image mirrored. So now it's mirrored, and I can send it. Press send and send it to the cutter. So I already have it set for cut. HTV, I'm using the force of 10, speed of 9, and then it's on the auto blade. And so now it's ready to send. And so if I would send it, it would go right into my silhouette and cut out. One of the things I like to do, let me go back to the design area, create the weed box so you don't waste vinyl. So I'll trace and outline the image that I want to use, that I'm cutting out. So now I'm not wasting vinyl. All this empty space when it goes to be cut is vinyl that you can use. So sometimes I'll go as far as to add other lines just so I'm not wasting even more vinyl, because vinyl costs. And you can use these. I'll put another little box down here. You can use this vinyl to do like smaller images. So That way now I've saved this bit of vinyl and I've saved that bit of vinyl, and I can use it for numbers or something like that on cleats or something small. And so again, I go back to send, and it would send. So I'll show you the last final step. All right, so now I'm getting ready to send it to the file. I need 2 images, so I've duplicated, and you get ready to push send. And now with the update, it will actually ask you to send mirrored or send as is. Just out of habit, I've already flipped the designs, so they're already mirrored. So I always push now send as is. And of course we'll go through the cut process, which many of you are familiar with, but that's what's going to happen now. The blade is automatically setting itself to the right depth, and it's going to cut through. So after that finishes, we'll weed it and you'll see the finished product. Okay, so the design's been all weeded out. The design's been printed out, and now we're going to weed it out. So when I weed, I figured out a little trick to make weeding easier if you ever run into a tough situation. So sometimes I'll have my shirt or the pad underneath the heater, and if you just lay your vinyl on it, it's not hot enough to melt it or anything like that. But then when you weed it, it weeds very easily because of the heat. So if you've ever been to any conferences or anything like that and seen people using a weeding table, a heated weeding table, well, I basically am just using my heat press the same way. So I weed it all out. Okay, so for the most part, it's almost fully weeded. I have to go back through and pick all the letters out, so I'll do that and then I'll show you the next part. Okay, so I'm going to weed this out, pick out the pieces that I don't want. So everything I leave exposed will be the area where kids can color. So sometimes the question comes up with what part do you weed and what part stays. It's really going to depend on your design. As a general rule of thumb, you go to that first cut line, then what's on the other side, then I pick that out. So knowing that I want this area to be the part that's colored in, that's the part that I want exposed. And I don't want vinyl there, obviously, because I don't want them coloring on the vinyl. I want them coloring. The open part is what's going to show the shirt underneath. So pick that out. Pick out all the insides of the letters and smaller parts. Take that out. Okay, so there's the difference, and then I'll go back through and pick out the other side. I take my blade and cut it out, and now this is ready to be printed. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is pre-press my shirt. A couple seconds, 3 seconds. Get the wrinkles out, any moisture that's in the shirt. And I'm going to use the collar to align my image so I can be centered. You can put it wherever you want. I can put it here or up here or anywhere really, but I'm going to put it in the middle. So I'm going to align it. This carrier sheet is all I really need to press because all the vinyl is covered. But if you feel more comfortable and if you just want to make it a habit of having a cover sheet, then you can put your Teflon sheet over top. And now this is ready to be printed. For me, I'm not using this on a 4 t-shirt. I have to actually order some smaller shirts, but I wanted to post the video. So I would press it and then peel this, and that would be it. This shirt would be done and ready to go. So we're gonna press at 325 for 15 seconds. That would be all that's needed.